The moment Armin Halim pushed open the creaking door of his small rented house, his breath caught in his chest, because sunlight was spilling across his living room in a way it never did, and someone was on their knees scrubbing the floor he had stopped noticing months ago. For a second he thought exhaustion had finally broken him, because the woman cleaning his house was the same woman whose name sat on the top floor of the company building where he worked nights and weekends, the CEO whose presence usually silenced entire rooms. His heart began to pound, not with anger, but with a strange fear that something terrible had happened. Before the story goes any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of compassion, please take a moment to like this video, comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to the channel Life Spark Stories. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them most. Armin was a single father who lived his life in motion, always rushing, always calculating the cost of everything. Daytime was when he worked as a junior operations assistant at a large logistics firm, and evenings were reserved for his 8-year-old son, Zayn, who carried a brave smile despite missing his mother every day. Armin had learned to survive on little sleep and a lot of prayer. Bills piled up faster than paychecks, and grief still lingered in the corners of his mind after his wife passed away 2 years earlier. He had stopped inviting people over, not because he was ashamed, but because he did not have the energy to explain why life looked unfinished everywhere he turned. The CEO, Nayara Bloom, was known across the company as efficient, composed, and distant. Her tailored suits and sharp decisions made her seem unapproachable, and Armin had never spoken more than a few polite words to her in passing. Yet there she was, in plain clothes, sleeves rolled up, cleaning as if this small home mattered. The room smelled of soap and warm air, and for the first time in a long while, Armin noticed how quiet the house felt without the constant weight pressing on his chest. As the shock slowly settled, memories began to surface. Weeks earlier, Armin had missed an important meeting because Zayn had collapsed at school with a fever. He had carried his son through the hospital hallway under harsh daylight, apologizing to everyone for being in the way, terrified of losing the only person who kept him standing. He had expected a warning or a termination letter after that day, but instead, his job remained, unchanged, unexplained. What Armin did not know was that Nayara had seen the security footage of him leaving the building that afternoon, panic written across his face, and something inside her had cracked open. Nayara's reason for being there was not about charity or appearances. Years ago, she had been raised by a single father who worked himself into illness to give her a future. He had died before he ever saw her succeed. When she saw Armin struggling silently, carrying responsibility like a burden he never complained about, she saw a reflection of a love she had once taken for granted. Cleaning his house in the bright daylight was her way of honoring a debt she could never repay elsewhere. As Armin stood there, exhaustion finally overtook him. Tears fell freely, not from embarrassment but from relief. No one had ever stepped into his world like this before, without judgment or expectation. For the first time since his wife's passing, he felt seen, not as an employee or a widower, but as a father doing his best. From that day forward, things began to change quietly. Armin was moved to a role with flexible hours, allowing him to walk Zayn to school under the morning sun. His home felt lighter, not because it was cleaner, but because hope had returned. Nayara never spoke publicly about what she did, and Armin never asked for more than the dignity he had been given. Their lives intersected briefly, but the impact stayed. Just before the ending, please comment below and share what kindness means to you, or a moment when someone helped you without asking for anything in return. As the story closes, if this moment of humanity and compassion touched your heart even a little, please engage with the video by liking, sharing, and staying connected with Life Spark Stories. Sometimes, the smallest acts in daylight can heal wounds we hide for years, and sometimes, a single gesture is enough to remind us that we are not alone.